Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Spin from the Real. Once again, I am Matt, and joining me as always is the amazing Chris Anthony Lopez.
Oh, you're too kind with these adjectives, man. I mean, amazing. You're pushing it. You're pushing it, man. You're pushing it. But how are you doing? How you doing, homie?
I'm doing all right. I know we have our own little drama we got to sort out for Monday, but
Yeah.
we're putting that aside right now.
Yeah, no spoilies, just in case you haven't seen it. Our title match for the Really Trivia Showdown, it's up on our YouTube page, Who Are They? Real Entertainment. Go ahead and check that out. The champion, Matt, the Master Thomas, against your boy, the personality, Chris Anthony Lopez. But that'll happen Monday, so the video's already up. Go ahead and check it out. What are you waiting for? But watch it after this. Do this first.
Yes,
then
do this first. It's been a big match, big week, I should say. Big week.
It's always a big week. Always a big week.
We got two interesting before we go on to talk about any other tournaments. We got two interesting match updates. One being something that Chris and Taylor got absolutely excited for.
Way too excited.
And then the other coming earlier today with the Horror Expo. But Chris, why don't you tell us about that other one?
So, for those who don't know, the movie Trivia Schmoedown is so used to taking they're so used to taking people from personalities and people from around the Los Angeles area, in some cases from other parts of the country, and putting them in the Schmoedown and making them do things. And they all come from different backgrounds, whether they do after shows on YouTube, whether they do stuff with Collider or did stuff with Collider, or they have their own YouTube channels, or they're doing stuff, just in the Hollywood scene because they're in California. But a guy by the name of Jared Habon, he actually made his name on The Bachelor. I believe it was Bachelor in Paradise, if I'm not mistaken. And out of absolutely nowhere, we're getting the Bachelor Trivia Schmoedown. What? The Schmoedown match I never knew I wanted, but boy, I'm so glad we're getting it. Because Christians always talked about the Schmoedown extending from movies. And I mean, people have been crying out for like do wrestling. Like, trust me, I'm still waiting for it. But do something else. Like as much as we love movies, the Schmoedown could be bigger. And we can expand to different mediums and to different things in this movie, TV, just geek space that we're in on YouTube and on the internet. But The Bachelor's the first one we're getting. I believe the date is October 6th.
I think so.
Oh my God. Yes, please. And this is coming from someone that I do not watch The Bachelor. I don't watch The Bachelor. Matt doesn't watch The Bachelor.
I got like a half a season of Bachelor in Paradise. That was about it.
Yeah, but I mean, I have zero experience watching The Bachelor. But I think this it's an incredible idea. And we're bringing in people from The Bachelor who have history with The Bachelor franchise. Is it a franchise?
Yeah, you could say it's a franchise.
But oh my God, yes, this Bachelor Trivia Schmoedown. Now, I don't know if we're getting it if it's a Patreon thing. I think it's a Patreon thing.
I don't think
unless
it
we're putting
is.
On YouTube. If they're putting on YouTube, oh yeah, then this is gonna bring in a whole different audience that I would have never expected. Christian would go that he would pull from, at least not at first.
No, definitely not at first.
But I mean, I sent this to our little group chat. Who are they? And you were just like, what? Like, you were more confused than excited. But
I wasn't confused. I was just like, that was the first one that they did outside.
It's something, man, and I am beyond excited for this. I'm gonna be there at the premiere, like watching the thing when it happens. I'm so stoked for this Bachelor thing because I don't know anything about the Bachelor. I know nothing,
Right?
Little to nothing. I just know that I believe his name's Chris Harrison. Tells people to give people roses, and that's it. That's it. That's all I know about it. But I'm rocking with this. I'm so rocking with the Schmoedown expanding. And you mentioned the other announcement that happened today. Connie Ice, baby.
Last day. It's the last day. I forgot to grab my natter day. It was a crazy day.
Connie Ice, baby. Tweet. Sponsor me, Natty. This hashtag. And then the other
Connie Ice, baby. At Natural Light. We want to get Connor sponsored. It's the last day of that. So be sure to tweet at him. Last day. Let's go.
Yeah, get Connor Breedlove sponsored. Get him sponsored. and we have a lot of stuff going on in the next few months of Who Are They? But imagine if we can say that, yo, we have someone sponsored by Natural Light. It'd be insane. So today's the day. Today's last day. Last day.
Imagine this with Connor drinking nothing but Natural Light during it.
Yuck. I mean, trust me. If Connor gets sponsored by Natural Light and we're watching Twilight, I will be drinking Natural Light as well out of support from my man. But make sure to check that out as well. Pull that graphic up one more time. That was November 21st, 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central, because your boy's in Central Time. We're watching Twilight from start to finish.
Natural Twilight.
Oh my God. This is genius. If I can rely on anyone to do that, it's definitely Taylor Cleek. But my God, we're watching Twilight from start to finish. The Really Scared boys are hosting it. So Connor Breedlove and Taylor Cleek, you saw his comments over there. I'm going to be making an appearance throughout the entire stream. Matt's going to try to be there the whole time. Nick Molbach, our boys, going to try to be there the whole time. We're going to try to get guests for this thing. We're going to raise money for a charity. We've been talking about which one we're going to do exactly, but no confirmation yet.
We might have a Schmoedown guest for it.
We may have a Schmoedown person. We may have more than one. Depends. We don't know. This thing's in 2 months. 2 months from, what's today? 2 months from Monday. We are going to, or this past Monday, we're going to have our Twilight exclusively on Twitch. So you got to go to _.
Actually, there's been a change on that. We are no longer doing it exclusively on Twitch because since we can't, it's no longer on Amazon. So just to bring in more of an audience, we are going to do it via Twitch and YouTube. So
all of our social medias, just keep in tune for that. Just keep in tune to the social medias that we got here. Who Are They? And more details will be coming in the coming months. I mean, it's still really far away. We planned this out in August. We've been talking about it for forever now, but it's gonna happen. And I'm so excited for this freaking watch along because I've never seen Twilight, and I believe Taylor's never seen Twilight either. So
me and Connor have.
Yeah, so this is going to be a riot. Getting firsthand reactions, watching these movies, or watching the whole franchise in one night. I'm just think 12 hours of movie. That's going to be on YouTube, Facebook, and on Twitch, and then maybe other platforms. We'll keep you in the loop.
Maybe my first time Heart. Yes, it will be. I'm probably going to be there for 80% of it. Probably going to miss that first film, like I said before. But yeah, and then always remember. Thursdays tomorrow we have Who Are They? Really Scared, bringing you your spooky news and your thriller news every Thursday. And this week they're talking The Devil All the Time, our weekly Lovecraft Country update. And they got their book club meeting tomorrow, so that is All the Good Indians, I believe the title's called. I got to double check on that. But the Only Good Indians. So you got The Devil All the Time, which they're going to go a little bit more in depth than what Chris and I did in our review last week. They got the Only Good Indians book review, and then I'll pop on for Lovecraft Country and probably The Devil All the Time. But yeah, it's going to be a really fun episode to go through with. But yeah, it's going to be a fun episode. I got that to say.
I mean, what's tomorrow? I might be able to pop on for Devil All the Time. I think I might be able to do that.
I mean, if you want to binge watch Lovecraft Country too, I'd love that.
Unfortunately, I have prior obligations tonight that I have to get through because we have a lot of other fun things going on at Who Are They? So,
but we're not going to say anything just yet.
Yeah, not just yet. We'll talk about that way later. But we're going to...
Taylor said we're going to talk about the movie first.
Great, that I can pop on for The Devil All the Time. But that'd be my first appearance. I'm really scared, and I'm really excited.
Yeah.
So tomorrow, Catch Really Scared. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be a hoot. But we're here to talk Schmoedown.
Yes, we're here to talk Schmoedown. But
usually we've been having these shows where we have this big event on a Friday, and we kick off with the event on Friday. But something we never get to do is talk about the match that just happened. So we will not be talking about Adam Collins versus Lon Harris. That'll be for next week's show.
As much as I want to.
To avoid talking spoilies, we'll talk about that match to start the show next week. But last week before our show, we had Chance Ellison versus Liz Shannon Miller, another corruption and swag face-off. And let me take the lead on this before you get on.
Hold on. Can I just say, I got one word. Retribution. Retribution.
You've been watching a lot of Monday Night Raw. But what I'm saying is Chance Ellison, okay, before last Wednesday, before I watched the match, I was thinking to myself, Chance Ellison has a strong case for singles or for player of the year because of his performance in every division that he's played in so far this year. He's played in every division with the exception of Star Wars, which I believe no one's played in all 4 divisions in the same year. And if someone wants to correct me on that, by all means. But I was thinking Chance Ellison, really shocked. Yeah,
we talked about it up front.
No spoilers. The match is still up on our YouTube page, but we can talk about that at a later date. Once we're not doing spoilers. Yeah. But spoilers for all these matches we're talking about, with the exception of the one today, Collins v. Harris. That's next week. Yeah. But Ellison and Liz Shannon Miller, and I'll be the first person on the show to admit, like, I wasn't the biggest Liz Shannon Miller fan. And I knew that going into last match, into last week. I'm like, okay, Liz Shannon Miller, I've heard a lot of hype. I've seen her matches. Maybe I just don't remember them that great, and I haven't seen her do the best before. So Chance, I was riding with Chance. Plus, everyone knows here I'm a pretty corrupt boy. At least I will not only will I defend them, I'm a fan of corruption. And I've said that on the show multiple times. I'm definitely a fan of what they got going on over there. So I was rocking with Chance going into the match. And Chance had a pretty solid game. He played a decent game, which I'm not going to knock the boy at all. And you heard him in this post-match. He's passionate about what he's doing. But Liz Shannon Miller played the better game and came out on top, taking the points for swag and knocking out another person for corruption, arguably one of the favorites in the league. And as Christian Harloff put it, and as I will repeat and echo his sentiments, what an upset.
What an upset. What an upset. What an upset. And I'm glad it's an upset. And you want to know why I feel just extra happy about it? You notice what shirt Winston was wearing?
No, I do not remember. I don't remember Winston's shirt.
It was the same shirt that we interviewed him. And you and I both know.
Oh, snap! It was that match. Oh, snap!
And remember, I'm the one who got, like, I noticed something when I mentioned how highly I was speaking of Liz Shannon Miller that night. It looked like he was holding something back. And after, I'm happy, man. I'm happy.
And for those who don't know what we're talking about, it's on the Who Are They Highlights channel. It's WAT Highlights. Go to that channel. Check out the highlights for all the shows, not only, but that interview is up on that page. Go ahead and check that out. Yeah,
but we interviewed Winston that night where we interviewed Winston. It was fun. It was funny to me watching this match because we knew going into it that he was coming. If he came, he was going to be coming right after a match. Mm-hmm. So every match from this tournament, I've been watching and looking and waiting to see what match it was. And I gave up. I'm like, oh, maybe change the shirt after the match, this, that, and the other. And then this match popped up. And he's wearing the shirt I've been looking for right after I gave up looking for it.
That dude. So, okay. So I cannot believe that my man. So when he came on our show, again, thank you, Winston Marshall, for coming on our show. It really meant a lot to us, as you can tell. Yeah. But that's crazy because that was an emotional match for a multitude of reasons. More so on the corruption side of things. But, oh my God. What? Okay. Where if I had is there some crow I can eat or some flag somewhere? Because I'll at 5:14 Central Standard Time in Enid, Oklahoma, as I stand here in front of my Mexican flag and my pops, I will say I was wrong. Chris Anthony Lopez, the personality of Who Are They Real Entertainment, was incorrect, and Liz Shannon Miller
is a baller.
A lot of me, and she's a baller, and she knows what's up, and she knows what she's doing, and she's pretty damn good at it. And we saw that during the match. And this was a highly touted match, but a lot of people had Chance going in because of his performance.
And a lot of people counted her out.
Yes, and she played Rachel Silvestrini first round, and it was another decent performance. To some, they think Rachel got stopped, but I thought, like, okay, it was a decent match, but let me see how she does against Chance. And I said that on this show, and I saw how she did against Chance, and oh my god, okay. And this is coming, like I said, coming from a guy. I'm a big fan of Chance Ellison. I'm a big fan of Corruption. And I'm a fan of Swag and what Swag's doing. Just Liz Shannon Miller, I wasn't necessarily the biggest fan of. But now I'm over here. I wish I had some crow to eat because I would eat all of it right in front of everybody just to prove how incorrect I was. So now Liz Shannon Miller, I mean, you got another fan out of me. You made a fan out of me. And this match against Chance, what an upset. Like it. When Shannon Barney ironically said this is the season of upsets, and she was damn right. Little did we know it was going to be against her own people. Perry against Mike and Miller against Chance. And we're not going to talk about the match Collins just had against Lon Harris, but that could be another potential upset. If
it's an upset, it's in her favor this time. So
yes, but so this time she's actually like the lower ranked competitor, at least in regards to Harris and Collins. But we'll talk about that match next week. But her two guys, her tag champs, lost in upsets in the singles tournament. And I mean, Matt, you're the bigger swag mark of the two of us. You've been a fan. You've been preaching the name of Liz Shannon Miller for a while now. I mean, tell me your thoughts during the match because we were definitely vocal about it, and I know how much you were jonesing to talk about it on the show last week. So come on, let me hear it. I'll take it.
Well, before I do, we have a video we just got from the one and only Nick Molbach, and I'm going to play that for us right now.
Our friend, and this is a friendship that'll never ever end.
Hey kids, it's your old buddy Bray Molbach here to announce that WrestleReel is coming! Tune in this Friday at 6 o'clock for WrestleReel with Nick Molbach and the personality Chris Lopez. If you don't want to watch it, well then... run. Bye!
What the hell was that? You heard the man? WrestleReel this Friday. We're doing the damn thing. WrestleReel, baby. You heard him. You heard. Oh my God. I can't believe that was a surprise. First of all, I definitely knew WrestleReel was happening. That was the thing I was alluding to earlier. But oh my God, yes, you heard what my man said. This Friday at 6 o'clock, WrestleReel is going to be a thing. Nick Molbach, you just saw my man, and myself, Chris Anthony Lopez, the most unconventional wrestling show on the planet. We're going to be having our fun on Who Are They Real Entertainment. Finally,
Nick Scary crying face.
Talking about professional wrestling on this channel. So check into that. We'll play that video again later in the show because I really love that video. But going back to Miller and Chance, go ahead and tell me your 2 cents on the match last week. Because like I said, you were the Shannon believer. You're the bigger swag mark of the two of us. So what's going on? What was going through your brain?
First thing that went through my brain is the exact text message I sent you, which was "Eat crow, motherfucker." No, I was feeling. I was so excited, and it was great. I was in shock and disbelief, but on the happy end of it because this is like the Dan Murrell match. I thought Chance was going to win, but I didn't want that to happen. I wanted Liz Shannon Miller to win because I felt like she is the better competitor. Yeah, I said it. She's a better competitor than Chance. I don't give a fuck. She is.
In singles.
Yes, in singles. But I was really her knowledge is just great. And I remember watching her last year, and when she wasn't really drafted that high, I'm like, are these people stupid? I'm like, where's Liz Shannon? And that was actually something I was thinking during the draft. I'm like, when Winston picked her up, I'm like, he just got the steal of the fucking draft, and everyone doesn't realize it. And look, her next match is against Bibiani, I believe. Let me pull up the graphic.
Yes,
and figure that out.
It is Bibiani.
Yes, it's Bibbs. So her next matchup is Bibiani. She's already taken a current giant. Who's to say she can't take down another?
And we have a lot, and we'll talk Bibiani because Bibiani played the Barbarian on Monday, so we'll talk about that match in a second. But you're right, Liz Shannon Miller. I mean, she proved that she bested Chance Ellison, who, and I hate to say this, but my man was rocking for Player of the Year, overall Player of the Year, up until that moment the match ended, and I believe the tide had turned back to Dan for good reason, but the momentum shifted back to Dan because everyone's going to be like, oh, Chance, he's single, so he's not good. Because I don't want that to be the thing. Chance is obviously good AF at singles. Let's not get it twisted. But his run for Player of the Year, potentially Player of the Year, I believe it's going to come to a screeching halt unless A, they retain the tag belts against Shazam, and B, he beats Jean Drew at Spectacular for the Inner Geekdom Championship, which both are totally feasible. And to me, like they can 100% happen as long as certain pieces fall into place. But I think, like, god damn, this match for round 3 between Bibbs and Liz Shannon Miller is going to be nuts. Absolutely nuts.
Yeah, I'm swag. Like I said, Swag and Finstock Exchange are my two factions, and just to see how they're both rocking right now, it's just like hell yes. And I think that's the perfect transition to talk about the next match we have, which is Riley against Video Drew.
Perry Nemiroff.
Oh, sorry, Perry Nemiroff.
Yeah.
Riley versus Perry Nemiroff. That was a great match. And Riley, I just got to say, Riley looked like the Riley of old. Did he have a few hiccups? You can tell the rust is coming off.
Mm-hmm.
So this next round, I'm really curious to see what Riley we get, because I think we might get championship tier Riley. And I think he might just earn his way into being a protected player come towards draft.
And I'm so glad you mentioned that, because last week when we talked about his performance against Video Drew, we had talked about like what's going on with Riley? He could fall to the draft now, which he still easily can, depending.
Yes.
It's up to him. It's up to him whether he gets chosen or if he just denies everything. He's like, I want Finstock, then go to the draft. But this match against Perry, first of all, Perry Nemiroff, like another great performance for someone who hasn't played in 3 years. Coming off that match against Mike.
When she said she's recommitted herself, you're just like, I still thought I was going to get the Perry Nemiroff. Oh no, she's a real threat going forward, I think.
Mm-hmm. And I promise you, like, we saw her in that match against Mike. She pulled monster movies, dominated the category.
And you know what's funny? She said she's like, it was those kind of monster movies. When I was hearing the question, I'm like, oh, it's this, because she talked about it when she was on Backstage a week or so ago.
So Perry Nemiroff's no slouch, as we've seen in the Schmoedown, and I can't wait to see her with the witching power in the teams tournament.
Yes,
and we're gonna get that bracket and all the official team names tomorrow, and I'm so stoked for it.
We are. That's confirmed.
Yes, Christian said that on social media. It's gonna be on I believe it's coming up next, or the show with Brad and Jen. Yes. So that, like, I was cool with Perry. Like, when Perry beat Mike, I'm like, oh snap. I thought, especially after seeing Riley's performance against Video Drew, she might beat this man. Like, she might come in here and beat
I got
Riley.
scared because I had, and let's just be honest. Our brackets. Let's look at these brackets. You're wrong about Roca Collins. We were wrong about. Actually, it's this.
You're wrong about a lot of things.
No. The side of the bracket with Roca, we basically got right. The only thing we may have gotten wrong is Roca Collins. It's this other side of the bracket.
The right side, yeah.
Where everything was, we were wrong right off the bat with Vinny Mancuso and Sabrina. We were wrong about Preston Zipper. Then we were wrong about Jader versus Viveda because we thought Viveda with his nods was gonna get crushed, or it was gonna.
I didn't
crush.
know Jader was gonna come in here swinging.
Right.
Well, I mean, with the exception of 80s.
We were correct about Franco and Tom. We were wrong about Kalinowski and Perry. We were right about Riley and Video Drew. We were right about Snyder and Oyama, or Snyder and Montano, and then we were right about Oyama and Kyle. It's just this top corner, that top corner, the two top corners, two top halves, I guess you could say, is where most people's brackets, honestly, ours included, are just completely different.
And I mean, we'll get to especially the real bracket busters in a little bit. But you're right. Like the first round matches, because like what Shannon said, it's the season of upsets. There were a lot of I thought we were and looking. I haven't looked back at that video, but we probably sounded confident with Roca sliding by.
We did.
I guarantee we're confident about Mike, and I guarantee we're confident about Paul. So I'm all over the place in regards to like brackets and who's going to beat who, because now I don't know. No. You can never know. And that's how I felt going into Nemiroff and Riley. I had no idea, because it's like, yo, is Riley going to learn from the match against Video Drew, or is Perry just going to keep trucking on, beating Mike, beating Riley, moving on to whoever the hell she faces out of that side of the bracket, on that part of the bracket? But Riley came out on top, like you said, looking like the Riley of old. And I still think, yeah, it's the Riley of old, but the Schmoedown is not what it is when Riley was on top.
No.
It's nowhere near. It's gotten significantly better. Like, yeah, the Schmoedown ruled when Riley was champ. But now, like, we've seen all these different faces, all these new faces, and the Schmoedown doesn't look the same. So I want to see how Riley does against his next with his next opponent, which we'll get to in a second, because that's going to be the real testament into Riley's positioning in regards to the rest of the tournament with the other parts of the bracket he hasn't seen yet. If you're still with me, Matt.
I should be.
Yes.
Okay.
Just do a little flip flop.
That time, I'm telling you, it's always around this time. Always.
It's all right. We'll keep trucking. We're gonna keep hauling. But either way, Riley came out on top against Perry Nemiroff. Perry Nemiroff's gonna. Her and Haley Fouch are gonna do some damage in the team's tournament. I like to think so. And here,
I pulled up the faction standings. I'm pulling them up right now. The last update was actually Riley versus Perry. So let's take a look right now.
Word.
So we got the Finstock Exchange in first place, and rightfully so. Second, Swag, and rightfully so.
What's the point differential between 1 and 3?
5 points.
Jesus Christ, that's 2 matches.
That's 2 matches.
Well, one. Well, it can be one.
No, it can't. No, it can only be 2. It can only be.
I'm thinking points can be taken away. No, one. It's 2 matches, and that was Riley and Perry. That was last Thursday.
Yeah. So we've had 3 matches since then, but the teams participating, Sweat, and that takes us to.
You're freezing on me, homie. Either way, I know what he was alluding to.
Match.
We heard none of that, Matt. But I'm assuming.
Let's go. Prelude to it.
Yeah. So the Finstock Exchange, we've seen the Barbarian from that. I mean, the Quirky Mercs. My God, are we gonna move on to Bibbs and the Barbarian?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So before we talk about the match itself, I want to talk about Coy Jean-Drew. When he I don't know what the hell the pandemic did to him in regards to Schmoedown stuff, but he's been pumping out some incredible things. He's been a great manager in the last 3 or 4 months. He's been killing it, absolutely killing it. And he's such a joy to see in these matches, whether it's with the kid, whether it's with Perry or Bibiani, Shazam as a team, Kevin Smith. We've seen great things from Coy Jean-Drew, and if we had I wish the Schmoedown could reward him for something, because I love that all of these managers are bringing something different to their faction. But I think Koi stands out in the best way possible in regards to how can I describe it? He looked a lot like what Winston was doing for Ace in the Star Wars tournament, but for everyone magnified by 3.
Yeah.
At least how I've been looking at it the last 2 months, especially during the singles tournament. So I hope some like Christian can give him like high five, like a pat in the back, like you're doing great. Buy him a milkshake or something, because he deserves some type of reward, because Koi's been killing it. And I know people have been talking about Gucci, Shannon, and Winston for Manager of the Year, but Koi deserves some love, in my POV.
No, I agree. Done very well the last few months, especially. Look at it this way: he is slowly coming back in the standings. Quirky Mercs are right there at 4. They have, depending on how the rest of this singles tournament goes and the teams tournament goes, they could possibly be in that top 3. I mean, they're only down as of right now, as far as we know, because we aren't alluding to today's match. They're only down 13 points.
And from what I understand, he still has
bibs. Wait, not even, because the bibs match put him up. They got 3 points from that, so they're only down 10 points.
So, as Matt alluded to, Bibiani beat the Barbarian in a barn burner. And I loved Bibiani's promo before the match, where he's like, "Hey, like this guy's just like me. Like it's another Bibs." Me? And I loved that promo. I thought Bibbs did great with it, because I mean I didn't realize the similarities until he mentioned them.
BLT.
One BLT, man. One BLT. I just got done eating. I had so bear with me. I had a jelly sandwich, just jelly. I'm allergic to peanut butter. I would have put peanut butter on it, but just jelly sandwich. I want to know what you're eating or what you plan on eating, because it's only 5:30 where I'm at, but I don't know if it's dinner time where you're at or lunchtime. Depends on what part of the world you're at. But that's what I ate, BLT. Just to let you know.
Yeah. I know BLT is one of these people we've kind of converted into someone into the Schmoedown, so I'm glad to see that he's here. So
yeah, it's so cool to see one BLT here. Plus, he's a fan of what we got going on over here. So shout out to one BLT. Much love to you, homie. Yeah. But like you mentioned, Bibbs came out on top, but this match was killer. It was a killer match. It was really, really good. And Bibbs pitched the first proper perfect. We've seen the word perfect game thrown on a bunch with Bateman, with Oyama against that match with the match against Marisol. But this is the quintessential perfect game. You nailed all of your questions, got maximum points, and you won the damn match going all the way to the distance with your 5.
Yeah.
So what the hell? If it's gonna be anyone, it's gonna be Bibbs.
And you know what? I wish I could say I didn't expect it from him, but I do. Like, that's just how good Bibbs is.
Yeah.
Taylor comes in. Bibiani was scary. Yeah, and Bibiani's a former champion. I think Bibiani wants that gold again. I'm really excited for his match in October, the title match with him and the Kid versus Corruption. Shazam!
Yeah, that's gonna be a riot to watch. Because man, Shazam, they're bringing it. Both of them, whether it's the Kid or Bibiani in the singles tournament, and they're killing it in teams so far. Like you said, Koi can easily come back into this, like the top faction rankings by the end of October, and that's a pretty scary thought. If I am Winston, if I'm Shannon, or if I'm Gucci, because my God, this is gonna be real interesting to watch, especially if Bibbs and Meyer keep rolling with each other. They might potentially meet each other in the tournament. So I think that, I mean, they have to be favorites. Both of them are considered favorites within this bracket, the singles tournament at least. That's what I'm referring to. Yeah. So and Meyer going to the top. Go ahead.
I was about to say I agree with you, and then also one BLT answered your question.
Oh, what do you say? I made some breakfast man. Breakfast for dinner is always a move. I'm more of a, like, in regards to breakfast for dinner, I like waffles or French toast to be specific. But you gotta let me know. You got to tell me what exactly is your breakfast? Plus, I'm curious and I'm nosy. So, Koi can really come back in his faction standings, especially, like you said, the teams tournament. If Perry and Haley can pull this thing out, if they both can prove that they're the power and the wishing power, then this could be really interesting going into November, into Spectacular in December.
Yeah, it really can be, and I'm very curious to see how this pans out because, like, man, it is just crazy and insane, and I'm upset. This is the last week of 4 matches a week, man. Like,
Yeah.
come on, I need it. I needs it.
As a Finstock Exchange fan yourself, what did you think of the Barbarian, especially with his interactions with Gucci post his post Bateman match? Because this might have been the last time we've seen Craig with Tom.
Yeah.
Finstock Exchange can explode at any moment.
Yeah. It's scary because, and I think Craig and Finstock are going to be able to work through it. I'm not sure about everyone else. So
Ben's as good as gone.
Well, no. So I don't know if you watched backstage today, but he's like, I think I just got to work through what I'm going through right now and figure out if I am going to come back. And if I am, and he talked about his future in the Schmoedown a little bit, and he alluded, so he kind of like hinted he's calmed down a little bit since that match, but I still think he's gone. I think he's going to give more thought to it though, because what you got to remember is the entire, you can say up until that match, Gucci's been in a stable always. Like Gucci's been there.
Yeah.
I know he wants to say, well, Gucci told me it was going to be me and Craig in the tournament. Look, dude, you have arguably the 2 greatest players of all time who were just the tag team title and have basically beat everyone in their way. The only team they've lost to is Corruption. So, twice. So how are you going to say, no, I'm not going to put in arguably one of the best teams ever in the Schmoedown? I promise you that Craig and Ben would be a great team up. I have no doubt in that in my mind. But if I was in Finstock's position, I would have made the exact same move, without a doubt.
This is where my problem with the Finstock Exchange comes, because like you said, they're a great faction. They have a lot of great pieces outside of the people in the Horsemen. So let's think about this, especially in regards to post-Spectacular going into free agency. If you're Finstock, if Ben's like, yeah, man, like I don't know what I'm gonna do still, that throws a monkey wrench into everything. Because now, are you waiting for Ben, or are you just gonna go along, keep your Dans and your Bens, or keep your Dans and your Rokas, and maybe keep Craig, keep Riley if Riley's kicking ass at that time, or you try to keep a Demolanto, try to keep your toes wet in Star Wars. You're in a real tough spot. And are you willing to wait for Ben to decide to join you, or there's still a lot of time left? And if you, I don't know if you watched SCN yesterday, but Winston and Roxy were talking about maybe trying to recruit Ben, because I think someone submitted a question in regards to Ben Bateman. So I'm curious. I'm in the camp that's Ben's as good as gone. I don't even think that's an option for him at the moment. But trying to see where Ben will go in the future after SCN, the Rock Stars, I'm throwing like that hat has to be in the ring. If you're the Dungeon, that hat has to be in the ring. But I mean, Finstock's always going to be a thing. I just don't think it's even an option for him, if you know what I mean. If you're still there with me. Okay, so yeah, as I mentioned, this match with the Barbarian and Bibiani, what it did, at least what it proved to me, is that what Koi's doing as a manager is fantastic. The Quirky Mercs are not out of this yet. They're probably the only faction that's not in the top 3 within those 5 points, at least as of Perry and Riley that Matt showed us a second ago. Yeah, what's going on, homie? That Koi's the only one that's still, like, he's still feasible in getting that faction, or getting himself in that faction race. Because everybody else, I think, is as good as done. You're just racking up your points, trying to not be last.
Yeah.
But everybody else that's like Koi, FinStock Exchange, Corruption, and Swag, by all means, it's their league to win, and this is going to be interesting to watch going into the rest of the season. But Bibs and Barbarians set that standard, and it raised a lot of questions in regards to their faction and in regards to the FinStock Exchange. So I'm wondering what the future of those factions are, but we'll get there.
Yo,
we love that.
I don't know. I exited out of here.
Yeah,
So,
there's a lot of.
There we go. It's fixed.
Woo! That was definitely the upside down. That felt like I was in a horror movie for a second.
Yeah. Sorry about that. We had a quick little internet outage. It's my bad.
No, you're good.
We can bring the bracket up right here for you, Ken.
This is the most updated bracket as of round 2.
Yeah, they don't update the brackets until after the rounds, so it's interesting to see how we're going to end up. I mean, Andreyko, Brendan Meyer is going to be a great match. I think we get that tomorrow, right?
What's today?
Yeah, that's the last
23rd?
one. Yeah, today's the 23rd.
No, Andreyko and Meyer already happened.
Oh yeah, it did. No,
Ethan and Zip.
Yeah, Ethan and Zip is when we get.
That's tomorrow.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm excited. It's
gonna be a good one, and I mean that's the last. Ethan Irwin's the last remaining member of the Usual Suspects, and if I'm not mistaken, and I believe Zip's the last person from the dungeon.
Yes, that is correct. So this is an elimination match, if anything. Like, look at the dungeon and look at the Usual Suspects. The Usual Suspects need this dub.
And I'm telling you, those last 4 teams, it's a fight for last. So the Rockstars, the Dungeon, the Usual Suspects, and the Burning Droogs, they're fighting to not be last.
It's not a fight for last anymore because Roxy. I know you said you didn't get to watch the match yesterday. Roxy came out. Yeah, Roxy came out. Snyder. It came down to the last 5-point question, and Oyama missed one. It was like, what are the 2 main gangs from Gangs of New York?
Jesus Christ!
And he got one. You need to name both, and he just missed the other. Just missed the other.
And to answer Taylor's question, yes, the Collins match was today. We're not going to talk about it on the show right now because there's a 24-hour spoiler ban, and we're going to acknowledge that. And we chose the day for the show to be Wednesdays, and that's how we're going to rock going forward. If there's a match on a Wednesday, we will not talk about it on this show. But yes, go watch that match. Both of us did get to check it out, and it's definitely worth the watch. I'll say that. So in regards to Oyama and Snyder, a match I didn't get to watch because I was at work and somebody just happened to text me. There's one person that I talk Schmoedown with on a daily basis, and he texted me the results of the match, and I said, "Oh, okay." So, sir,
I wonder who that is.
WTF, man? But no, go ahead. Tell the people about the match because I obviously didn't get to see it. But go ahead. What were your thoughts about the match?
It was a great match. They each only missed one question.
Damn.
And it's sad to see that Paul's happened to be
the decider.
Mm-hmm. And I think he went multiple choice on a question. If I remember correctly, it's been a full day plus everything else. If I remember correctly, he went multiple choice on one of his second rounders. Mm-hmm. And if he had, because apparently if I remember correctly, he went multiple choice. He knew the answer. Just one of those times that you needed to go multiple choice to be safe.
Yeah.
It would have been tied, and they would have gone into sudden death. I think that's what happened. I mean, I'd have to refresh my memory real quick. But it's one of those things. It's a great match. You can't be upset with the outcome. You can be, but
So Oyama was down 1 point going into his 5-point question.
Yep, because Jeff was the one down going in round 2, so he had to hit all of his.
Oh my God, that is. Holy God. Okay, that would have. Wow. Okay, so talking about brackets being busted, us here at
Uh,
Who Are They Spin for Real had our final being John Roca versus Paul Oyama, and we did not decide a winner. I think we said John, but we're like it could easily be Paul, and now both of these men are out of the tournament within the second round. What the hell?
Yeah, it was.
Holy God.
And the fact of the matter is, Paul won. I mean, Paul had a perfect round one.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sure I'm scrubbing through the first match.
I mean,
Yeah,
Paul,
no, Paul had a perfect round two also. Perfect all around. It's just that 5-pointer.
See, I mean, in Scorsese, he's that's what knocked out the Barbarian, if I'm not mistaken, in his match against Bibiani.
No, that's the one Scorsese got. That's the one Barbarian got.
Okay, but either way, these 5-point Scorsese questions are absolutely nuts. I mean, what I've been noticing, and I'm pretty sure everyone's noticed this.
Final score was 22-25 in favor of Snyder. That's what it was.
Damn. These matches have been so good. Oh, bye, Matt. But like I mentioned, these Martin Scorsese 5-point questions are no joke at all. You really got to know your movies in order to really pop in. Hi, Matt.
That one was on me. I hit the wrong thing.
You're good. You're good. So the fact that it sunk, I mean, if he wasn't playing Bibiani, Barbarian would have won that match.
Yes.
Barbarian he had a great match, great score for a singles match.
Mm-hmm.
A regular singles game, that usually wins you the match. Barbarian just happened to lose, and that Scorsese question definitely was difficult, but it helped him out in the long run. It helped him out for the second until Bibb started answering his questions like a madman. But in this case, with Snyder and Oyama, Snyder, he lost against Oyama in the live event in New York. This was the rematch. Mm-hmm. Snyder was jonesing. He came and played Robert Montano in the first round and stomped. Snyder was hungry AF. And as the last rock star in this tournament, you have to bring it for your faction. And oh my God, although Andreyko had a hard time because he had a hard opponent in Brendan Meyer, this one I thought, oh my God, Oyama's going to take this because Oyama's been on fire. Mm-hmm. But that final exam team loss is now catching up to Oyama, and now Oyama's putting up good numbers, losing for swag because Rockstar's advance. Now Snyder's going to face Riley. That's going to be a kick-ass match.
And Riley got his witch because he said after the match, he's like, I've never beaten Snyder. I want to play Snyder. I want to fix that. So be careful what you wish for, Riley, because you got him. You got Snyder. You got the man you wanted. So what you gonna do, sir? What you gonna do?
This Elite Eight is going to be absolutely insane to watch, especially after the quality of match gets better and better and better as it goes on. And I mean, Snyder v. Riley, that's going to be a killer of a match. We're going to see Ethan and Zipper tomorrow, so it's going to be Tom v. whoever the hell wins that match. Probably going to be Ethan. But I mean, who the hell am I? I'm dumb. I'm wrong. I'm wrong every week. So that could easily it could be Zipper, and we'd have no idea. Ethan could crap the bed, but I doubt it. But we'll see. But on the other side of the bracket, we're talking about Collins and Harris. If you really want the spoilers for that match, go watch it on the Movie Trivia Schmoedown YouTube page. And that's what we did. But go ahead and watch them, which we'll not talk about it on this show. But that bottom right, Bibbs and Shannon Miller, like this Elite Eight is going to be wild. This Final Four is going to be wild. Whoever the hell's in the final. We're having some match of the year
quality matches.
Like this is and if I'm Christian Harloff and I'm watching these matches pan out, it may not have panned out like how we thought it was going to, but you're making stars in the process. Who the hell said Adam Collins was going to win against John Roca if your name's not Shannon Barney?
Yeah.
So that's my thing. Like this tournament has proved nothing, but you have to expect the unexpected. And if you are if you're the Snyder and you're facing off against Paul Oyama, wanting the blood that was drawn from New York, you're gonna get it, and you're obviously gonna take it as well. So that match, Snyder and Oyama, it must have been nuts. I gotta go back and rewatch it because I want to hear what Snyder had to say because I bet my man must have went crazy when that match ended.
I don't think, if I remember correctly, I don't think he did.
because I mean, he lost that match in New York, which wasn't pretty.
Yeah.
It was not a pretty watch.
He gave up.
And he said it, not me. And I'm like, this rematch is gonna be cool, and it was hyped up as the rematch from New York, as it is. And apparently, from what you just told me and what you described to us, that's exactly what we got. Another another quality match that went down to the last question. And Oyama, the favorite to a lot of people, ourselves included, dropping in the second round.
I was killing to see that Ethan Oyama matchup. I really was.
Wouldn't it have been crazy? Because everything's changed. So much has changed in the last year in regards to everyone involved in this tournament.
Those are the two people who just ran through all their matches and won the first time around, then win a title. Come on.
And both of them lost their first defense.
Yep. No, Paul won his first defense.
Oh yeah, Snyder. I keep forgetting that Snyder match was a title match, but it's still impressive nonetheless that both these guys, they're both were rooks, came in, wrecked shop, and from two completely different backgrounds. One came from the families, the other one is the president of a production company. So it's like, what the hell? And we won't see that match, at least not this season, but maybe we'll get to see it next season, depending on how the factions pan out.
Yep.
Yes, depending on how factions pan out. And I hope that's something they fix. I don't want to see too much in-faction fighting next season.
I think that's something you're going to come across no matter what.
Breaks my heart.
And unless we get a 10th faction, like originally we were supposed to have 10 this year. Just remember that. Unless we get that 10th faction, I don't see that happening.
It's gonna be fun to watch. It's gonna be a lot of fun to watch. And today's match, like I said, all I'll say is that it was worth the watch. Go ahead and watch it. Tomorrow's match is I could bit my tongue again. Tomorrow's match is gonna be killer. Watching Ethan do his thing and see what the Z-Man can do. But it's getting down to the wire, and especially with the teams tournament announcement going to be tomorrow. We know the teams. We don't know how they'll be positioned. Up
against who?
Yeah.
So we do have 9 teams. Do you think the Founding Fathers are going to have that play-in match winner?
Well, I'm pretty sure Christian said the play-in match will be Wit and Zip and oh my god. I want to say I don't know if it's a Witching Power. There's a play-in match, and the play-in match is for the Founding Fathers. Okay. I know that I think I'd say that in confidence. Plus, I mean, let's be real. They're the 1 seed. They should play whoever the play-in match is. 1,000%. At least in my opinion. It would only make sense. Because who else is your 1 seed? Especially after this season.
Right. I mean, you look at, and half those teams in there are new teams.
Exactly.
The only other one you could argue could be the 1 seed is Final Exam.
Yeah, and they just lost to Shazam. So they're, if anything, they're like I wouldn't even make, you can't make a case for anybody else. It's Founding Fathers or bust. It's obviously the Founding Fathers is the 1 seed. Whoever the playing match is, it's Adam Witt and Eric Zipper against somebody. I forget who it is. But they're going to be the playing match facing the Founding Fathers, which will not be easy at all because the Founding Fathers are going to be hungry. And especially Roka. Roka's lost every match he's been in the last month and a half. So he's going to have something to prove, especially with Dan. Dan's right there with him. Yeah. And the last team match they played, they lost.
And I think
keep that in mind.
I think that's the perfect segue because the other thing we're going to talk about tonight is the biggest upsets and biggest matches of this tournament. And Collins Roka is right up there because you're curious, how is Roka mentally going to come into this team's tournament after losing all of his matches for the last month and a half?
You have to be pissed, right? Like, you have to be legitimately upset.
You're either upset or you're letting it get to your head. It's one or the other. There's no in between, in my opinion.
And you can easily be pissed off or upset and it not mentally screw up your game. And I think it's not the case with Roka, at least in my opinion. But granted, take my opinion with the smallest grain of salt because like I said, I'm wrong all the time on this show. But the Founding Fathers, they're the favorites going into the tournament. You'd be on one if you thought otherwise. I would love to see Founding Fathers versus Final Exam at some point. That'd be really, really cool match to see, especially with how Lon and Paul have been playing. Whether Paul's out here losing matches to Snyder or not, they're both going to put on a great performance, and they kick ass when they need to be or when they need to. So, and the only thing that stopped them was Shazam. So let's keep that in mind. But like you said, Collins and Roca, it was probably the upset of the tournament so far, at least in my eyes.
Without a doubt.
Because, and I had said on this show, Adam Collins is nothing to screw with. I still had Roca because I thought Roca was going to come in hot after that Ethan match. And I believe by the time the match aired with Collins, he had lost the tag belts. So I'm like, ooh, okay. Roca's going to be pissed.
Yeah.
And I guess he wasn't that upset because Adam Collins put on a performance for rookies everywhere. And I didn't get to mention this earlier, Adam Collins, Rookie of the Year? Depending on his match with Law?
Yes, that without a doubt. I think Christian's kind of alluded to that also. It's just one of those things, man. You just got to let it ride. I mean, the dude's been killing it. If he beats Lon, you could call him a legend killer. So
this performance with Lon that he's going to put on is going to make such a difference. Because Lon's been on fire. He had that first round knockout with Sabina. And, I mean, okay, pressure's on. And Lon Harris, no slouch. His record does not reflect how good of a player he is. Just go watch his team's matches. Go watch his matches with Paul Oyama because they're great. But if Adam Collins can even put up a decent performance, because let's keep in mind, this man ain't done. He's teaming up with Marisol McKee in the team's tournament for Corruption because Corruption's the tag champs. So he could easily make a ride and just route this team's tournament. We will see when the team's tournament happens, especially with the first round matchup. That's a team to look out for, whatever the hell their name's going to be. So whether it's let's think of a name. It's because he's the Coyote. There's someone, I think I saw someone put Hounds of Justice, which I really rock with, in regards to a team for them. So I hope that's the case. But Adam Collins, Rookie of the Year, Barbarian, even though he lost to Bibbs, another great Rookie of the Year. I'm still riding with Ben Goddard at the moment, but that Collins Harris match will
I don't know if I can ride with Ben Goddard, especially because his year's been done for about 2 months.
And it pisses me off he's not in this tournament. Why isn't he in the team's tournament?
Because the better team's there.
Oh, dude, that's a coin flip.
Here's my thing. Paul Preston has been spotty this season so far. We even saw it in his first match back.
Another upset in Zipper beating Paul to a lot of, at least to us.
Yeah, it was to a lot of people. But if Tom's going to be Tom, then it's over. Because so it's Zipper and Witt.
Yeah, it's Zipper and Witt, baby.
Paul Preston carried the movie guys when they were a team.
Mm-hmm.
And Eric Zipper seems to be stuck at 15 points. Outside of Inner Geekdom, he seems to be stuck at 15 points in his single matches. He had that one match against Stacy, but other than that, it seems like he always gets it at the 15 mark consistently.
I mean, and I think that's why Ethan's going to beat him tomorrow.
But my point is, so if let's just say hypothetically, since they are a new team, they'll be playing a team that's more proven, like Final Exam. Or no, let's say hypothetically. Let's say hypothetically we get the movie guy Civil War. You get Preston and Tom versus Zipper. It's no contest in my eyes there, because Tom is just a machine.
Man, but how many? Oh, God, it depends on the Paul Preston we get, dude.
But no, think about it. Think about Video Drew and Tom. Who carried that team?
I mean, there's definitely a Michaels, and yes, it was Tom.
So if Paul Preston can play at that Video Drew with Tom level, and Tom plays as like Tom, it's over. If that's a match in my eyes. I don't understand where my
I saw a lot of the Ben Goddard to start the season, and the bumps we haven't seen too much of him since the pandemic had started, and we got into this digital era of the Schmoedown.
We would have if he had actually shown up in the tournament and not be forced to play against Robert Parker.
Yeah,
he played well in teams. Rachel Silvestrini choked.
That's my problem with what's it call it, and I'll never forgive Kate for putting Silvestrini over Goddard. I would love to see Goddard v. Shannon Miller. That would have been a kick-ass match.
Yeah, I think Ben's kind of hinted at he's going to look elsewhere.
Oh hell yeah, as he should.
Because realistically, you're right. We both thought he should have been the one in the singles tournament, being a team player. And then you see how it happens, and if you saw how, because he would have been, you could say he would have been in Silvestrini's spot. That's
odds are, yeah.
That's almost a for sure. So with that in mind, that would have been a great matchup.
That would have been killer.
You then choose, but I understand the decision, honestly. You chose Tom and Paul over the Pride.
Yes.
So it's just like he was probably a little hurt by that. But I think the Pride, in my eyes, I would have made the same decision that Kate made, because the Pride had their shot. They choked.
And I don't blame Kate for putting Tom and Paul in that position. And I think I said it on the show after the teams were announced. It was a coin flip, to me at least. But Tom and Paul was the correct decision to go with, especially after Rachel's performance and the match against
Rachel's
Shannon
past
Miller.
2 performances.
Yeah, her last two.
In that tagged match, Ben was carrying her the entire time.
Pride and Final Exam was a rough watch, at least from a Ben Goddard fan perspective. So, yeah. Either way, watching these matches pan out, especially the bigger upsets that we've seen. We already mentioned Collins and Roca. I think the other standout to me, and probably the only other big one in my eyes that I was really surprised by, was Nemiroff and Kalinowski. That one rocked my world. Like I was watching this match pan out. I'm like, oh my God, like Perry's gonna win.
Yeah.
And we might have been texting each other like, yo, like Mike sacrificed a #1 contender spot to be in this tournament, and he's about to be outed by someone who hasn't played in the Schmoedown in 3 years.
Yeah.
Oh my
I
God.
told you, and when he made that decision, I'm the one who straight up said this is gonna backfire. I know you said no, you're crazy, man. This is for the point.
Even the tag match gave me so much hope.
Yeah.
And we hadn't even seen it yet. Watching the tag match with Corruption Founding Fathers, granted, Chance did some of the heavier lifting, but Mike's still solid at singles. And I thought
I think
was going to be nah. And
I think Mike focused on a lot of Inner Geekdom, because Inner Geekdom, he seemed like the Mike you thought you were going to get in singles.
Yes.
So I think that was kind of the issue. People expected that carryover. I mean, but let's see. I don't think people expected. Well, this is more than upsets. There's great matches, because I don't think people expected David Del Rio to put up the match that he did against Chance Ellison.
Oh no. That was probably the best match of this tournament so far.
Yeah, Marisol McKee. She did great performance. Zipper was an upset, not the best upset. And Tim Paramo over Viveda. That was a great match too. We've had great matches. I'm not going to take that away from anyone.
There hasn't been a bad match. There's been like underwhelming performances, but not a bad match.
There's been one bad match, and that's just because Lon was a killer in that.
And that's why I say underwhelming performances.
Well, I'm not. I wouldn't say that was an underwhelming performance, because she did well. It's just it got hard to watch. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and I mean, and we hadn't seen Sabina in a while, and watching Lon do what Lon does. I mean, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with in this tournament, Lon. He's going to be nuts. But I'm so glad you mentioned Del Rio and Ellison, because I think that's my favorite match of the tournament so far. Like, the emotions that were going through my brain, and as I was exuding physically with my body, I was tripping. Because especially, like I mentioned at the top of the show, Chance Ellison was someone I was really rocking with in this tournament. I'm like, yo, Chance might win this damn thing. And after watching that match against David Del Rio, I'm like, oh, Chance might really win this thing. But that match against Diamond Dave, it went to sudden death, and a damn Hulk Hogan question was the decider.
Yep.
If I could not ask for anything more in a Schmoedown match with two guys doing great at movie trivia, a sudden death match or sudden death questions being asked, and then Hulk Hogan, Suburban Commando being the damn decider. Oh my God! And I know there's a lot of flack being spoken. There are a lot of trash talk between Roxy and Shannon, and Roxy was like, oh, we're the real winners. Like, okay, let's cool it. But with that, it proved like not only like Diamond Dave is going to be a hot commodity next season if he continues to play, which I think he will. And Chance was Chance did what Chance does best, and he whooped ass. He just got bested by Liz Shannon Miller on a great performance. Just someone had a greater performance than he did. But that first match, first round, Diamond Dave and Chance Ellison was my jam. I was losing my mind watching this match happen. I loved it. And yes, you gotta love a Hulk Hogan question in the movie trivia Schmoedown, especially with shows like Wrestle Real happening. So I'm really excited to see more of them as we get more Hulk Hogan as we get it. Can we get in the Schmoedown? We should have a wrestlers and movies category. There's probably not enough for it, but I mean.
And see, there was people calling for that the other day, actually, I saw, and I was just like, oh, we got something similar on our thing, on our family, where we do athletes in film, and we throw wrestlers and athletes.
Yeah, I mean, athletes in films I think it's a great category. At least if I say so myself, but I'm extremely biased, so keep that in mind. Especially when you can count the Rock in that. Like you saw Perry put up great numbers with Dwayne Johnson. And what's
that shocked the hell out of me. I forgot to mention how that shocked me.
Yeah, I was tripping. I'm like, yo, Dwayne Johnson, you're out here rock. Like that's, I mean, great strat. Focus on a man with a small filmography, and like she killed it. Plus, not too many people have pulled Dwayne Johnson, if I'm not mistaken. So I like what Perry Nemiroff. If you would have told me Dwayne Johnson's the strength, I would have been like, shut your mouth. That's a damn lie. Obviously not. I'm stupid. But like I said, my favorite matches so far, Del Rio and Ellison was great. Collins and Roca, because it was the upset no one expected. What was another good one? Oh my God. Bibbs and Barbarian was a rout because of Bibbs' performance. I love watching Bibbs do what he does best. Ethan and Mancuso, because another great performance by Ethan, but Vinny Mancuso, I love his character, man. I love his character so much. And it sucks that we won't see him anymore in this tournament or really for the rest of the season. And I'm trying to think of another great one. Oyama, Marisol McKee and Bonnie Somerville.
Yes.
Not only because Bonnie, that was her best performance in any Schmoedown ever, but Marisol McKee became a star that day. And we must keep her in mind going forward, regardless of what happens during teams tournament, regardless of what happens during spectacular. She will get picked up before free agency happens. If she slips through the cracks, my God, someone needs to pick her up. And she's going to do gangbusters, especially if she has a manager, whether it's Shannon again, or if she has someone like Shannon that can really help her out and that could really build up that character that she established. She's Lady Justice for a reason, and holy hell, she made her presence known in the Schmoedown off of a play-in match. Off the damn play-in match.
Yeah. It's insane. You gotta love it. I couldn't ask for anything more, honestly. Because especially no one knew what to expect in that match at all. Let's just be frank.
No. I didn't.
So it's just one of those things like, hey, I'm gonna rock with it. I'm gonna go along for the ride and enjoy this. It's great. Like what else can I say? I was so happy.
And I mean, if you would have told me, like, if we would have had these exact teams going into start this season, so say Corruption had Collins and McKee to start the season, I think the league looks a little different. At least the standings look a little different. At least going into August, because August is when everything got crazy. But corruption doesn't. They don't come from last to top 3 to first in some cases
No.
or some days, but they're hanging out at the top the whole league or the whole season, at least in my opinion. Because Collins and McKee, what great pickups by Shannon Barney. And we talked about it on the show last week. The fan leagues are no joke. People that pay attention to the fan leagues, great. It's a great strat. McKee and Collins are 2 great examples. And that's just one faction, let alone everything else that we got going on. So they're both going to be a force to be reckoned with going into next season. And geez, freaking Barney might have her 3rd pick. Keeping Chance and Mike's an obvious choice, but Marisol or Collins could be the next one.
Yeah,
could be that 3rd.
She's kind of in that Winston situation now where you don't know what to do going forward.
Those top 3 factions have no idea what the hell they're going to do with their 3 picks. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. Granted, there's still a lot of season left, but it's still rough as hell. I do not envy them. I really don't.
I don't either.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun to watch, especially as the team tournament happens. Because if the teams tournament is anything like singles, you have to expect the unexpected. And we might see that corruption team wreck shop. We might. They had that potential. Power. Yeah, the witching power is the same thing. They have the potential to do really well as well for Coy to add on to those points he's getting with Bibbs and Meyer. So this can be interesting. I'm really excited.
I'm excited. That's exactly what I was about to say. I want more. It's just it's so much. It's so much, and I'm spoiled right now. And Christian, you've done a fantastic job. No one could take that away from you ever. This whole thing could have folded going into this whole pandemic, and you've just been killing it. So, bravo to you, sir. Bravo to you. I need more, man. I need more. And you spoiled us, and I'm forever thankful for everything you've done for just this whole thing, because this is nothing without you, and this is nothing without you. This is nothing without Mark, and this is nothing without the talent you bring in. Like, you are truly what most sports commissioners could be. So I want to thank you for that.
Hell yeah, brother. Like, I echo all those sentiments, because like we talked about last week on the show, especially with us talking about the rule book, which still I'm waiting for.
I want it. Let's buy it. Make it buyable.
Let Brian Ward do the cover for it. I guarantee Christian's already doing that. But like that, we talked about a potential minor league, and this Schmoedown's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Whoa! Look at that. Entertainment's misspelled.
I'm fixing that. This was made on the fly. So give me a minute.
No, you're fine. But I think, especially, I don't know if I told you this, but I finally got around to listening to Christian on Bert Kreischer's podcast, and he talked a lot about his work as a stand-up comic, which I hope to God one day I'll be able to see a Christian Harloff stand-up set. I'm jonesing for it. I'll buy you that beanie, Christian, if you really want to wear a beanie back on stage. But I want to see where the Schmoedown goes, because especially hearing the things he hasn't really gotten to talk about, and talking to someone who's unfamiliar with the movie trivia Schmoedown and trying to dump all this information on somebody, it reinvigorated, or at least it reminded me why I fell in love with the Schmoedown in the first place.
Yes.
And especially going into the future, this setup on StreamYard excelled, and it surpassed everyone's expectation. And seeing where it goes, Spectacular is gonna freaking rule.
Yes.
Like, Spectacular, like it's not even, we're nowhere near Spectacular. We already have 2 confirmed matches for it. We have that Star Wars championship match and Inner Geekdom championship match. Everything else will file its way there. We'll figure out on the way there. But Spectacular is going to rule. It's probably going to be done on this platform. But bang! All the plugs everywhere. All of it. Follow and watch everything. So I'm really stoked to see where this league goes, especially at least how it's looking right now. The country is not letting up in regards to the pandemic, so we might be seeing this platform for a little bit longer than expected.
California's definitely not letting up.
Exactly, but it's welcomed at the same time. I'm cool with this. I'm definitely cool with this. I just need everyone to wear a mask so I can go to another live event, and so I can
Chicago, please.
Chicago, Houston's an option for me now.
How you doing, Stevie? I'm doing pretty good, bud. Doing pretty good.
Hi, Stevie. Nice to meet you. I'm doing great, by the way. Thank you for asking. I'm sweating. I decided to be an 80s skier today, so I'm wearing a thick windbreaker.
You had to be. You had to be.
I decided to be.
There we go.
No one told me that I had to, but I decided to as I put my hood on. So I think that the Schmoedown is going to get better and better and better every year. I think that where it's heading right now, like I mentioned on the show last week, this is the most important season ever.
Yes.
Like it may be the first season, the first Collider season, and then this one. Like those are the three most important seasons and crucial to the Schmoedown's history. We will look back at this season and be like, "Oh my God, what a kick-ass job Christian Harloff did!" And everyone at the Schmoedown, not even just Christian, everybody. Nerd Chronic is the unsung hero of the entire league because he is bringing it with the promos every single match. Like the promo that sticks out to me the most is Guy and Bateman from their match in late August.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Holy hell!
And no, Stevie, we're actually talking about this movie trivia league that we watched, and I guess you could say cons because they do travel. And that is the Movie Trivia Showdown. You can watch it on their YouTube at youtube.com/the Schmoedown. Imagine wrestling meets movie trivia, and it's crazy. Cameron's even watched the matches. I talked to Cameron about it because he's actually enjoyed it from time to time. So.
If you enjoy movie trivia with the theatrics of professional wrestling, this is right up your alley. And we're doing it online because of what's going on in the country right now. But, I mean, there's a plethora of matches before the country went to hell, and they're all fantastic as well. So, I mean, I highly recommend it if you just like movies.
Yeah.
Like, that's all it is. So, but before we start doing our end plugs and we wrap up the show, this whole tournament so far, tomorrow's going to conclude round 2, and we will anticipate round 3 as
only a week, man. Only 2 matches a week.
2 matches a week. We're going back to the norm.
Christian, don't stick with this norm. Go keep it at format.
It was
you want to know what I'd love starting next year?
What is that?
A match in each league, 4 matches a week.
Didn't he try doing that at one point and it just wasn't working?
He talked about it when they were making the switch over, and I think I think with this they can pull it off, and when they get their own studio, they can pull it off. But as of right now, because he even mentioned on it. Well, no, he mentioned on SEN that he was like, we were gonna, because once they decided to break away from Collider. He mentioned, he's like, yeah, we had to rent out their studio, and we only had twice a month on Saturdays to go in and film. So it would, with them getting their own studio as a possibility, imagine just they can record whenever they want. It's just that kind of situation. You know what I mean?
If we get a Star Wars match every week, I will change my mind on Star Wars being a division. Like, because I think one of the popular consensus, consensuses, whatever the plural consensi, whatever the hell it is. Thank you. The plural of consensus, the more you know, for Chris's sake. But I think that the Star Wars division is by far the weakest of the 4, and it's because we don't have too many matches every year. Before the tournament, we had maybe 3 or 4 a year.
I can admit it's not the most played, but my thing is the tournament showed it's definitely not the weakest.
Oh, I take that, especially after watching the Inner Geekdom tournament, especially after watching the singles tournament so far, and then we're going to see how the teams tournament happens. And I'm not saying it's bad. Like, don't get my words twisted. Star Wars division is not bad by any means. Like, some of the most exciting matches. Shit, one of the best matches I've ever seen in the Schmoedown is a Star Wars match, and I will never forget it. It was that Iron Man match, Sam Witwer and Ken Knapsack. If you have not seen it,
kill to have Sam back in this.
If you haven't seen that match, go and check it out. It's one of the best that Schmoedown's ever put on. But thank you, Nick. That's what. If it's a match a week, okay, then I will change my mind on how I feel about Star Wars Division so far. But yes, the Star Wars Division ruled, and it set the precedent for all this that we got going on right now. And I'm so glad that it did. But I'm scared that when we go back to studio, whenever the hell that is, please Jesus, it's just gonna go back to that. It'll go back to a match every so often. Because we even tried earlier this year. That's where we met Adam Witt in singles in Star Wars. So I've always been iffy about Star Wars, and now people are calling for an MCU division. People are calling for all this stuff, and I
don't agree with the MCU division because that's Star Wars is a little bit easier to pull off because there's only 11 things you have to pull from currently.
Well, MCU, there's 20?
There's 22.
It's still less than Inner Geekdom.
It's still less than Inner Geekdom, but my point is the MCU actually, and let's be honest, Star Wars doesn't play as big as a factor in the Inner Geekdom as films in the MCU do.
Nah, same slice. They're both equally played slices.
Well, no, because then there's just the general comic book movie slice that comes in Inner Geekdom, where you can get it's like the mixed bag of comic book movies, so you can get an MCU question in that.
I don't want to have this. I don't want to have this debate because I'm pretty sure everything you're going to say to me, it can easily be applied to Marvel or the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because especially they're still going to be making Star Wars movies and they're still going to be making Marvel movies, as we heard by the news today. Sad face emoji, Black Widow. But I think the same precedent that you can make for Star Wars that they have been making for Star Wars can be made for other divisions, but just for the sake of not getting too gimmicky, it's not going to happen.
Yeah,
I'm not clamoring for it either. I don't need the MCU as much as I would love to see it. I don't need it. But with what we see on Patreon, the Patreon MCU stuff has been killer. It's just another reason why I think the real niche championships are like they're on the fence for me, because Inner Geekdom gives me that. Inner Geekdom is getting harder and harder and harder every time we see more matches, and we saw that with this past tournament. Holy hell, those questions were hard, and this is coming from a dweeb that watches all that stuff that's in those movies. And especially with the talks of them including video game flicks, which should totally be an Inner Geekdom, by the way.
They are an Inner Geekdom already, I thought.
I don't believe so. So I think with where Star Wars can potentially go in studio, but to go back to the original point, if they do, I don't know about one division per week. That sounds like a lot, because that's 4 times 4, it's 16 matches. No, yeah, it's 16 matches a month, which is insane. And the only reason they got to pull it off right now is because of the pandemic. So when the world's normal, when the world's right again, 2 matches, maybe 3 a week would be cool, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But I think especially with how SEM's growing and it's bigger than the Schmoedown now, there are other shows, and they're granted Schmoedown centric, but there are other shows that they got to do. I don't expect them to do that. If anything, we'll get 3 a week, if anything. But even then, as long as the quality of the match continues to be stellar, the Schmoedown's just going to grow and grow and grow. And maybe one day we'll hit that match a day, or we'll get something like it, something as exciting. So Star Wars, it's been a while since we've seen the match, obviously, because it's a tournament, but this Damon Cabrera match should be awesome to see. It's spectacular. Inner Geekdom had had a breath of fresh air. Now that we're seeing especially a lot of new stars in Inner Geekdom that were made in this past tournament. So that's going to rule to see. And singles and teams are always going to bring it. That's their bread and butter.
Yeah.
So going forward, the schmoz is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. But I'm iffy on 4 matches a week. Plus, it's a lot. Like it's a lot every week for 11 months of the year when they're during the season. They can experience some burnout real quick, especially like, hey, Nerd Chronic, you got to pull out 16 promos for 11 months because these other people have day jobs, as I mentioned last week, at least for now, until the Schmoedown gets that big and they hire Nerd Chronic straight up. Which, if that's the case, yes, please. So, yeah, man, Schmoed's getting crazy, and I don't know how to act. Simple as that.
I don't think any of us know how to act with it doing everything it is. It's great right now, man. I mean, what else could you want? It's just one of those things. I need it. You got any more of that Schmoedown, man? You got any more of that Schmoedown?
It's going to be weird going back to 2 matches a week, but it's for the better until because I mean, it's what we were used to before. We just, like you said, we're spoiled. We're just really spoiled.
We got really spoiled, and it is what it is. But man, I wouldn't mind it staying.
I mean, neither would I. But I'm gonna miss it seeing every day on my subscription feed. I'll tell you that. Or getting the alerts to my phone, like, oh, they're going live. Oh, okay.
It's going live in 30 minutes. So it's going live in 30 minutes. So
like, yeah.
I got so used to it, and now it's gone.
But I mean, in the meantime, we're keeping ourselves busy over here, Matt.
Yeah, we are, and it's. Oh God, let's play that promo one more time.
One more time for the kids.
We're really glad that you're our friend, and this is a friendship that'll never ever end.
Hey kids, it's your old buddy Bray Mulbach here to announce that Wrestle Reels is coming! Tune in this Friday at 6 o'clock for Wrestle Reel with Nick Mulbach and the personality Chris Lopez. If you don't want to watch it, well then... run. Bye!
Bye. Hi, Nick!
How's it going?
It's Bray Mulbach.
Well, that's my why am I forgetting Taylor's character? The Rager. That's my Rager.
That's your Rager. We're
which means the horrible beast demon is actually me. That's great.
Word. Okay. Word.
But,
I'll keep that in mind for Wrestle on Friday.
Friday.
This show won't be live, though. We should mention that ahead of time. This one, unfortunately, won't be live.
Soon we hope. But yeah, I figured once you flip that promo on Chris, I'll see.
Hell yeah, brother. Wrestle Reel on Friday. Yes, the show will not be live, unfortunately. But sooner rather than later, we'll have the show live. The show might change days because of that, but just keep us in mind for your social medias. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter, on Twitch, all our social medias. Don't forget to sponsor me, Natty, for Connor Breedlove. That's a thing. Connie Ice, baby. It ends today. Got to do that one more time today for us, or as many times as you want. It's going to be, we're busy over here. We're busy as hell. And Matt, we have other shows that we do every week.
Yes. So, of course, going to mention it one more time. Wrestle Reels. We now know it's Friday. It starts Friday. Can't wait for that. Just
Wrestle
really
Reel,
excited. Then tomorrow we have Really Scared. Another show. Just gotta love it. They
do great work over there. If you like horror movies, those are your guys. Connor Breedlove, Taylor Cleek. They do great stuff on Really Scared. And they're talking about the devil all the time this Thursday or tomorrow.
Country. Their book club, which is the Only Good Indians. Just got a lot going on. There.
And you might see us on there tomorrow. Well, I think you will. You will see us.
You'll definitely see me. Trust me. Especially with what's going on.
I'll pop on for
Country. Bruh, you seeing me.
And I'll be there for the devil all the time. I believe we're doing spoilies. So
yes, we are doing spoilies.
Yeah, so keep that in mind. If you have not seen the devil all the time, steer clear of that portion of Really Scared, but please catch the rest of the show. The guys run down the biggest news in horror, We have a lot of movie shifts in release dates today, and that may affect some of your favorite horror movies. Keep in mind, Really Scared tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern time.
Yes. And then, of course, as always, every Sunday, we have the flagship show, the original show on this network, and that is Real Talk. And this week, we will be talking about the news that broke during this show about the Snyder Cut adding new footage, the Peacemaker television show that we're getting, and WandaVision, the Disney delays that Chris just mentioned, and we got a lot coming, so I'm excited. And who knows, could get a guest this weekend, working on that currently. Let's see what happens.
And before we bounce, I didn't tell any of you guys this, but I watched the first live episode that at least I got to be a part of Real Talk. I think it was Sunday night after the show or Monday.
Wait, our first Real Talk episode?
The first Real Talk episode.
And yes, I consider that the first episode because the original iteration was a me and Nick thing, and Real Talk has definitely changed since then.
Yeah,
so.
The first Real Talk, I vividly remember doing it, and I didn't know what to expect out of a show like that, or a show like Real Talk, because obviously I had done stuff like that before. But I was getting acclimated with you guys. Mike Wendt was on our show.
Yep.
I didn't know I had met him before. I forgot that it happened, which was really cool. Taylor had a beard, like a real
real legendary beard. Like
he had like the train conductor from the Polar Express type of beard. You could pull on it, and he made noises. It was funny as hell looking at him. I did not recognize Taylor at all. I thought I looked cool doing the show from my then job. Like it was weird as hell, but the show has changed so much, and watching how the show has changed, especially with how comfortable we've down with each other. The shows are right every single Sunday. Check out Real Talk.
Well, no, and I do got to say, I talked to one of my best friends, John Mangaluzzi, who he wants to get on the show one of these days. It's just scheduling. But he's been one of my biggest supporters ever since I started doing this, and he even said he's like. We were talking the other day. It's like you guys had chemistry in the beginning, but you can tell how much better that chemistry has even grown from then to now.
Yeah, I was like tripping, because I didn't know how much of myself I can express, and I'm over here yelling at my apartment building, and I'm hundreds of miles away from where Real Talk had started, or where I started doing Real Talk, and now I'm over here. So much has happened since we first started Real Talk, and it's just gonna get better. Like what our boy Taylor said, it's been great so far. And we're only going to keep kicking more butt as it continues. But and there's one more show that Matt does in regards to football that I'm pretty sure.
Thank you. I almost forgot about that.
Last thing, I promise.
Why is my graphic? I think I accidentally deleted my graphic during the show. All right.
Tell people what it is.
I'm reloading it right now, and it's every Sunday or game day, I should say. We got the Dog Check post game show. I am from Cleveland. This is a Cleveland thing. John Roca, I came after you on SEN the other day on Monday, telling you how my dog pound's gonna beat the shit out of your Washington football team. Hail to the football team, as you said. But it's Browns time, baby. It's Browns time. Get ready because we got 3 key defenders back this week, and I'm pretty sure that's gonna play a big portion into how we play this Sunday. And then next Sunday, also when we play the Dallas Cowboys, and there's a Schmoedown personality out there who I'd love to get on that post game show for next Sunday if we can pull it off. So, fingers crossed. But yeah, Dog Check post game show. That's this Sunday. It's going to be before Real Talk, and yeah, let's go.
It's going to be a ride. We have a lot of fun things going on here. But like I'll say it one more time, the debut episode of Wrestle Real will go up this Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern. Just to give you guys a little tease of what's going on, our debut episode, we're talking about how wrestling's been during the pandemic. We're going to talk about Retribution. Matt, you said Retribution in regards to Chance Ellison and Alicia Miller, and Retribution is definitely in wrestling as well, but in the worst way possible. So we're going to talk about that on Friday as well. And since it's our debut episode, we're doing our top 3 debuts in wrestling. So catch that and more on Wrestle Real this Friday, 6 p.m. on our very YouTube channel. Yes. That one. Who are they? Real Entertainment on YouTube. Go ahead and check us out.
Yeah. So, yeah. Be sure to follow us there. We got one more comment. So, yep. Good night, y'all. Good night, Taylor. Good luck with your shoot tonight.
Oh yeah, good luck with that, homie.
But yeah, signing off. I'm Matt.
And I'm Chris, Anthony Lopez, the personality.
And remember to spin from the reel, not the peg. Have a good night, everyone.